And I don't know where I put it. I kind of created a little, I don't know, a little flow for our calls. Just wanted to have it to where Zane, if you want to give us any updates on kind of like what members are working on, any update on that, and then have it open to some deals that we're working on, and then we can open it up for dialogue from there. Is that good with everyone?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, kind of similar to last week, maybe not a ton of updates. People are still waiting to hear back on some different offers and different negotiations and stuff and contracts and everything. But I was talking to Andrew earlier about a couple deals, the one in Huntsville that kind of didn't pan out, or you guys couldn't come to an agreement on a price. Um, and then this new one that you're kind of looking at right now as well, Andrew. I'm not sure if you're still on that phone call that you're on, but if not, you can talk about it if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I will. I'll just kind of give you the rundown. I won't share my screen unless I need to, but so I've got looking at a building in Birmingham. Um, it's a great location. It meets all the property physical attributes that we look for. It's actually two separate buildings. One of them's 8,500 square foot, all clear span. The other building is 10,500 square foot with it's split up into seven, I think it's seven roll-up doors,
Nice.
and each of them could be sectioned off, and you could have basically seven 1,500 square foot workshops or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It's when they had it built, they actually had it metered where you could split them up individually. So it's already like it's not wired for that, but it's already like the electrical's already been done. Where all
Right.
they got to do is basically put a meter in if you go in and put walls, up. So great layout. Currently it's an owner operator. They built the building in 2001. It's two brothers that own it together. It's a party supply rental business. So they do like inflatables, carnival rides, all types of things. They're actually getting into the retirement stages, not very old, but they're ready just to kind of get out of that business. They've been doing it for so long. Um, so that one of my first roadblocks is I got to find a long-term tenant because they're getting out of the business and wanting to, they'll agree to like a month-to-month lease up until February-ish because they're basically booked out till January, February, and it
Nice.
would cost them too much to cancel, parties that they have on the books. So that's what they've asked for. So I've already walked the space. I met with the broker and the sellers. We all walked it together.
What
And
part of Birmingham?
sir,
What part of Birmingham?
it's on Pinson Valley Highway, so that's going to be Highway
North.
69.
That's,
Yeah, it's like north of the airport, I think.
yeah, yeah,
It's an industrial corridor. There's a lot of industry right there in that
yeah.
section.
Oh yeah.
And it's not a very, I mean, it's got a very pretty low vacancy rate too, in that section of Birmingham.
I got two buildings right down the street from there.
Yeah.
It's super industrial. It's nice.
One of the questions I asked was about crime in that area.
Mhm.
And they told me, and the entire time they've been there, of course, they got a gate and they've got security cameras, but they never had any of their buildings broken into. They just had one truck stolen in the entirety of the time they've been there, which is pretty damn safe.
Sure.
That's going to happen. But so that was good. So anyway, I drew up the pro forma. There was actually the African cat was actually 10.7. Um, so me and my broker spoke, and I wanted to offer a little bit less, just simply because just to see what I could get away with, for the first offer. But she had recommended since all the numbers worked and we were asking for 25% seller financing, that just go ahead and offer asking, because it still works. So that's what we did. We actually sent an LOI yesterday
Nice.
evening. Haven't heard anything back yet, and we had a contingency on there, a leasing contingency during due diligence, as well as financing contingency. Um, I went ahead and reached out to one of my banks I've been working with on some other stuff to try to get a term sheet. And I was talking to Zane about this earlier. I got the term sheet already, and the
Nice.
terms were much better than what I had projected as far as the pro forma. So I adjusted those a little bit, and it actually put my let's see, my debt service coverage ratio after I made the adjustments to like 1.7.
Very good.
So it
Very
was
good.
pretty solid. Um, but one roadblock that I was talking, me and Zane were kind of talking through on the actual term sheet, it had wording in there that says that only 15% can come from seller financing, and I would have to bring the other 10% of that 25. So I asked my bank, uh, can that still come from an investor, or does it has to come from me personally? He told me it could come from an investor, Zane. I got that information after we talked.
Well, I said I
Hang on,
think
Zach.
so,
Hang
but
on,
we
hang
don't know.
on, hang on, hang on, hang on. This is a good learning moment right here. All right. So I've picked out two things. This is awesome because you're like right there. So maybe Zane knows what I'm up to here, but I see two little flaws in your game right now that I think can really open up this deal. Okay. I can tell it to you, or do you like, or Zane, you want to try and take a game at it?
Well, I have maybe an idea. First of all, you're maybe bending to what the bank is willing to offer rather than giving them an offer and
That's
like
it.
basically saying yes.
You
Okay.
ask the bank. You say you ask the bank. Don't ask anything. You're offering them an opportunity to lend you money. Like
Right.
you're lending you they need to lend money. Otherwise they're not making money. So offer them your building as collateral in exchange for a loan. And if they don't like it, tell them to kick rocks. You've got four other people that you're running with. And you might not at the moment, but you can have high and mighty and a little bit of confidence. Be like, look, you're just one guy I'm talking to, Mr. Seller or Mr. Bank guy. I've got six other people that are going to that have also got me term sheets. What's your best offer? Make an offer to me, bank guy. Not in like a
Yeah.
arrogant sense, but I would almost say this, in obviously that like a funny way, but like remove the word ask from your vocabulary when it comes to the real estate. I'm only always offering people things. Offer. Like just making offers. And then because what it does is when you ask somebody for something, it immediately gives them the response to say no, no matter what it is, because you're asking them for it. But if you're offering something, it creates a curiosity response in their mind, right? When you're offering them this, that, or the other, or whatever it is in this circumstance, your seller, your bankers are way more likely to want to accept what you have to say, and then it's more of a binary road from there versus like, hey, would you do this for me immediately? I mean, even the same thing. Hey, Andrew, can you like run and pick up my kids tonight? Like your first response immediately, subconsciously, is no. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
going to do something for somebody else. I just don't want to. But if I offered you, hey, I'd like to offer you this opportunity, whatever it is, you immediately draw in with some curiosity. You see the difference there?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I
That's
remember
how
you
I
going
tend
over
to do it.
that
Yeah.
as well. Well, so we've covered this too. I don't know if it was on a live call or maybe in one of the recorded trainings. What what was your response? I think you've been asked this before too. If a bank says, "Well, you don't have any skin in the game if you're not putting up any of your own money," so is that where you just go back to like, well, offering the building as collateral,
Yeah, I mean, again,
opportunity to lend on it?
the I think this comes down to your relationship with your lender. Number one, I've done deals with one of my bankers who's on our sheet, but I don't want to just like throw him out on the live, of course. But Mason, we've done multiple deals where the seller has left money in the deal, and there's a deal I closed, the Porto Madrid deal, which is in Birmingham, 10,000 square feet or whatever. I closed that building. The seller left. I bought it for 430,000. The seller left 180,000 in the deal, and I had an idea of me, doing some rehab to the property. And then Mason, on top of financing the down payment or the mortgage, he also threw in an extra 80 grand that he just put in my checking account to go do
For
a
renovations.
for renovations, which I haven't
Okay.
even done yet. I haven't needed to. So I mean, I haven't like spent it on anything, but it's just And my debt ratio is still 165 on the building, even borrowing an extra 80 grand.
Yeah.
It's like I would say it comes down to my relationship with Mason. He knows I'm like not going anywhere. I'm not, he knows where I live, but also um of the bank, in my opinion, I think it is the first is with your response or your relationship with the banker. But second of all, like I said before, there's 10,000 charters in the United States. I mean, if one guy is telling you we got, I mean, I had lunch with a banker last week with Cadence Bank in Birmingham, some guy. And he's like, hey, Nolan, like, can I buy you some lunch? And I said, well, I exercise at lunch. And he's like, well, how about like afterward? I was like, fine. So we went and sat down, like in a jerky way, but he was like, hey, so here's kind of what we're doing. This is what we can offer you. And it was like 70% was the maximum loan to value. I had to go and put $100,000 in a checking account with them. Like
Oh
he just
yeah.
louned out all these terms. And I was like, dude, you're not even in the ballpark of competitiveness right now. It's like no wonder that you're not lending money. Your lending terms are not competitive. So I would just say that if this one bank that you've been running with that you might have some loyalty to, I can appreciate you wanting to work with them first. But man, I would not hesitate at all on like a heartbeat to just go call all those guys on our CRE contact list. Go call those other bankers and like show them what you got because they'd be thrilled to look at what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm ahead of you there. So I've already reached out to another bank and sent them my personal financial statements and W-2s and LOI for that property. And also, I did reach out to Renaissance too off your list. Left a voicemail. So, I am going to explore some other banks and see what they have to offer and go from there.
Well, one thing too, Andrew, what I'd say as well is when you go under contract or when you're close, um, immediately begin immediately begin marketing it on like Facebook Marketplace because you'd be shocked at. I mean, I just signed a tenant up like 2 weeks ago off of Facebook Marketplace. I just did a video yesterday. I was out at a Bessemer property. Um, Met this guy. He's from West Virginia, and he's got a business site here in Birmingham that he's renting from me. So like put it on Facebook Marketplace. But also I say this, I've got a bunch of leads that have come into my pipeline that have like looked for space that my buildings at the time they weren't available or the size that I had, like, I had 15,000 feet. I was showing like, man, I'm really looking for like 6 or 8,000 feet, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever. I've got all these people in my pipeline. I'd be thrilled to share all those leads with you. That way, when those guys are on month to month, you can have someone lined up to move in immediately. So that way you don't have to just service debt out of your pocket.
Right.
So just a thought there. I'd be happy to share those guys with you.
Okay. Appreciate that.
And Andrew, could you ask Nolan the question we were trying to figure out about earnest money earlier?
I don't remember what the question was.
It was it was like how exactly, so let's say for example we're raising money from an investor. We need earnest money, of course. You could come out of pocket for that. Maybe you could go to like a hard money lender that would do it like over the course of 2 months or like a month or so. Um, and then just pay them some interest. Or the investor, of course, could put up the earnest money first, and that would go towards their equity that they're coming to the table with the title company. But like if we were to go that route, would we um, pay the investor like interest on their like 15K that they put up
For
uh,
Ernest.
of
Mm,
earnest money, or
I don't
or
know.
how do you?
I haven't done that before. If you're think about this. There's two ways an investor is going to deploy money, either as equity or as debt. It's one or the other. So if he wants to deploy 15,000 of earnest money as debt, that's no problem. Pay him an interest rate. But then at closing, he needs to deploy like that 15 grand is going to get be reimbursed, and then he's going to bring all the rest of the money. Or if it's equity, you shouldn't have to pay him an interest rate. He's an investor.
Yeah, if it's equity, I understand. If I'm using him as an investor on 10 to 25% or whatever it is, then I understand that portion of it because he's going to get some equity ownership in the property. But we were just talking about if, let's
Don't pay
say
him
the
an interest
seller,
rate. Don't pay him an
what's
interest.
that?
Do not pay him an interest rate for that money.
Okay, even if it's just, I'm just getting the earnest money from him, that is it. That's all I'm using him for.
Oh,
Nothing
if you're
else.
if you're gonna like cash him out when you close, yeah, pay him interest.
Yes, yes. Just so I don't have to bring whatever 15 grand out of pocket
Right,
for
right.
earnest money.
That's understood. Yeah, if you're
Yeah,
gonna
so
just borrow his money from, even if it's a HELOC or something, I mean, the earnest money thing is, and also too at closing, your bank should be able to reimburse you that anyway.
Well, could it be to where like if you put up 15K of your own cash, you send that to the title company, obviously for like right after the PSA signed, and then couldn't that investor bring the whole amount of equity needed at closing, and then your 15K could come out of their equity, right? In the closing statement or whatever?
Yeah, what you'll see on the HUD statement, let me show you guys one. I'll show you guys a HUD statement here. Get this pulled up. So let's see here. This is from, where is it? So here is the initial closing statement. So I closed this one a couple of years ago. So what I did, if you notice, so here's the or here's the statement, closing statement. We bought it for 710,000 bucks, loan amount, all these fees, whatever. But if you look at the bottom, um, you see that Samard Holdings, I got a 1% admin fee. It was like a finder fee basically as the sponsor of the deal. And then I also got my earnest money reimbursed. You see that? So then my partner on that deal brought to the table $181,000. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Y'all see that?
it
So
was
that's the way that's the way that I've done it.
the 181, was that 25% of the purchase price, or what was the percentage that he brought
The
to the table?
loan, so whatever that number is, I mean,
Okay, you got to do the
710
math.
minus 557. So I mean, I'm with the public school. So roughly that's like 160 something thousand and change, right? 170,000. And then they just tacked on my two charges or my two costs. And then that's what they brought to the deal. So, and I just make it non-negotiable too. Like if you got it, like I split this deal 50-50 with these partners. I've since bought them out, but at the time, that was what they were thrilled. They were like wanting to get in the deal. So if you get somebody that's motivated and like, hey, I'm fired up, I want to do the deal, then awesome. You know, make sure that you step on the gas with what fees and terms that you're putting on the deal, or on the on what you're offering.
Okay.
So just a thought there. Thoughts on that? Will, what you got, man? You got a thought on that?
Nah, man, to be honest, I'm still learning here. I'm still getting my bearings, but I've been looking for a ton of deals just
Yeah, what's going
online
on?
because all my brokers that I've been reaching out to, it's tough to get a hold of these guys. They're just not getting back to me very much. So trying to find what I can. I found a property that's pretty cool, but I just don't know if this is in our wheelhouse or not. I can kind of share my screen and show you what this looks like.
Okay.
I gotta send a request to share.
All good.
All right, here we go. So this is it's like a dual auto body shop, but 11,500 square feet. Um, Asking 2.5. It's currently leased by two auto body shops for $16 per square foot each. Triple net leases. I got to talk to this guy, Matt. This guy, Matt, was actually one of the ones that, was pretty good with communication with me, but still hasn't sent me anything. I'm just looking at what he has available on his listings.
Sure.
But my question to you is this something that fits within our wheelhouse? Like, I don't know, like auto body shops, it's still light industrial, but I wanted to hear your opinion.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I think with body shops, again, I'm not knocking them. I think they have a little bit of a higher red flag regarding debt just because I feel like there could always be some environmental issues. So
Hmm.
if anything else, let's say you went on a contract on this thing yesterday,
Hmm.
make sure that phase one is squeaky clean,
Hmm.
that environmental study. You just don't want to dance because you don't want to get under contract and then you're doing your due diligence and then for whatever reason the environmental they say, oh, we need a phase two, and then which is it's it's not extremely expensive, but it's expensive. It's like 30 grand to do a phase two. It's basically just insurance against, something that could really become bad. And
Mm.
it just costs money and it costs time and it's really non-refundable. So I would ask for some like an environmental study or like what that looks like if it's come back clean already. That's an idea. But then
Okay.
you just got to look at the leases, figure out how much length is left on them
Yeah.
because the bank you got to make the deal bankable, right? I mean, this could be a great deal, this could be a shit deal. You just, I mean, at 2.5 million, it could be an absolute home run, or it could be like, oh my god, no wonder nobody's touching it.
Yeah.
It's
I
very,
was
it's just
I
not
was
a.
running the numbers at 2.5 million. It's a 7.36 cap rate, so a little bit low for us. Would obviously I would approach an offer between 1.5 to 1.7. 1.7 would put us at a 10.82% cap rate and 1.66 debt service coverage ratio. So I was like, those if they were open to going that low, that would make it reasonable. But yeah, definitely got to do some more homework. I'm gonna reach out to this guy Matt and see if we could hop on a call and go through the due diligence to see what he can answer for me. But before I did that, I wanted to even see if like this was a smart thing to do because it does fit under the light industrial, but with the auto body shops, I've never seen you guys really go for anything like that. So I appreciate it. Here, I'll stop sharing here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would just get his opinion on how motivated the guy is. I mean,
Mhm.
if he's an owner user, he might have a different reason for selling. I mean, there's some not if you got an owner user that wants to lease it back, I think lease backs are great.
Yeah.
Some people think that they're spooky because the owner might need liquidity. Like there's a couple of things around it. So you just need to like that's part of your due diligence is
Mhm.
discovering the why behind selling. And that's when you sit down with them and we've always talking about it, like getting to know them, spending 30 minutes like asking about their business, like asking a bunch of questions. So
Mhm.
getting to know them and why they're selling and what they're going to do with the money and all that kind of stuff is, I think, just a part of playing the game. Does that answer
Gotcha.
your question?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Cool. Awesome, dude. Keep that working, dude. It's fun too. Like when you're looking at deals, like it feels before you're like, oh, dude, I don't know what I'm looking at. But I feel like slowly but surely, especially for myself, I was like, okay, I can see how this number keeps coming up. This ratio keeps probably it begins to populate. It like it settles in your mind. You're like, okay, I can do this, and you have confidence. It starts to build up, and then that's when you can. By that point, you're making offers and you're finding ways to close deals. That kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's week 4 for me. It's starting to get more familiar. But yeah, man, it's really just it's tough because everything that's on market, a lot of it is for sale and for lease. So I'm not getting a lot of information or opportunities where there's triple net. Like this is one of the only ones that I could find out of like 30 properties that I've looked up. So I'm playing with the numbers with the ones that are vacant, but at the same time, like, I really don't want to waste my time doing that for my first property. I think I need some leverage here with the triple net to start out. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it goes.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Keep us updated. That's great to hear. Keep it moving, man.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, what's next? What else is everyone working on here? Caleb, Michael, you guys got anything else you guys are shaking on? Andrew, obviously we can go back to your.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes. So I emailed you and Zane with what I was working on.
Okay, let me
Um,
pull up that email here. Let me see.
and I'm not where I can like share my screen with you. I'm on my phone.
No, it's okay. Here, I'll pull it up right.
I pretty much just copy and pasted it so you can see it.
Okay. Okay. Got the. Is this the one you're talking about, Caleb? Willow Creek?
Yeah, that's the one that I was telling you about with the 10-year lease, and then also has a sublease to a doctor.
Cool.
So it's not what you usually work on, but it's something that was sent to me and the 10-year lease.
Now, is this the one that we talked about that was like the pharmacy? Caleb? Oh, Caleb, we might have lost you there, man.
Give me one second. My headphones tapped out.
No, saying that is this the property that is the pharmacy that you were talking about?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So he's going and asking 3.4. You're going in shopping and offering at 2.4. I mean, not a bad offer really. Have you shopped some debt in Fayetteville? Have you got anybody that's like has interest in this site?
So I just got on the phone today and started doing that. I got to do some more shopping
Okay.
because the guy that I was on the phone with, they sent me to like what I would call a large commercial lender that mostly works with, basically a small deal for him would be 5 to 10 million. So I'm going to say like a well established.
Okay.
So he basically told me after talking to me that his rates wouldn't compete with the smaller banks, and he told me to go talk to the smaller banks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine, whose name is Zach Hawker in Fayetteville that does all commercial real estate. I'd be happy to introduce you to him too.
Okay.
Might be a
That'll be good.
good just boots on the ground there and tell you, hey, this is a great deal at 3.4. I know it's only a six cap, but it's probably worth 10 million, right? I mean, or you might say, no, turn and run from this. I don't know. But
Well, I was going to say the other banker looked at it and knew the area, and he told me, um, I wish I would have talked to him, but he told me not to look at it too much, is what he told me.
okay.
Um,
You didn't like the
he
look.
basically,
What?
he basically was just saying like the debt that would, or he basically was explaining to me the debt off the property because it was originally listed for five.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was originally listed for five. I know it was purchased 2.7. So if I did get it for 2.4, they would actually get less. I got the like assessed value on the property from like 5 years ago sent to me. And then it's got $60,000 worth of land value based off the assessed value of the property.
Okay.
Um, what? Hold on. I think I went off. Um, what was your question? I think I accidentally took a turn somewhere else.
No, I was just gonna introduce you to my guy Zach Hawker, and he can tell you, hey, maybe the deal makes sense at this price, or maybe it doesn't. I mean, I can understand the guy listing it for a six
Okay.
if there's a 10-year net lease. I get it. But then that just means that he's not targeting you as a buyer. He's targeting a 1031 or a fund.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be
That's
curious,
good to
what's
know.
the income on this thing? I mean, I don't even know. So 224 in rent and it's a triple net lease. I mean, maybe it's good income for 10 years. I mean, maybe, but man, it's just overpriced. I mean, he had it listed at $5 million with only throwing off 224 a year. I mean, the debt
Yeah.
ratio would be
Yeah, they
like,
had it listed for
yeah,
five.
like really tiny, really slight.
But you're saying an LOI for this would be good at, or just if I were to do an LOI on this, or it would be good to do it at 2.4
No,
or
I'd
less.
go even less. I'd go even less. I'd start at like 2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, started at something like that's crazy that offends him. And then he'll
Okay.
come back and be like, well, kick rocks. And then he's going to realize that, yeah, he's got it way overpriced. And then you can come back and say, look, I'll give you 2.2 for it, but I'm not going a dime higher. Or, that kind of thing. You can just play hardball on him. Because that way, you're still
Okay.
on the 10 cap at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that would be the goal because even playing with the numbers the way I did, I mean you're still only getting 9.35.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't look at this as it looks like it's just a screenshot, but the debt ratio on this is still probably razor thin because your loan constant, if you look above, like right here for everyone. So Will, you're a little new. Just to be clear, the loan constant is principal and interest monthly payment. So it's not just the interest rate of 7%. That 2.3% includes the principal repayment as well. So I never really look at just the interest rate. I always look at what my loan constant is. So
Okay.
if you're just to be just like a hypothetical, that's why I'm always saying like a 10 cap because truly if interest rates even hover at 7, now if you have this amortization at 20 years, the loan constant is going to be a little bit lower because you're going to have a smaller payment. There might be some more money that goes to interest, but because your payment will be smaller, you'll have a lower loan constant, which can make your debt service coverage ratio higher.
You mean
So
25 years? Did you mean like
I
if it was
said,
if
I
the
said it's 25 years. If it
oh,
was
okay.
amortized over 25 years.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So the longer that amortization, the smaller the loan constant will be because you're stretching the cost of that debt onto a longer rope. So
Okay.
what I'm getting at is when you guys are underwriting deals, always know that the loan constant is your true cost of debt. It's your interest and your principal repayment. So if you have interest only for 12 months, yeah, the interest rate is the interest rate. But when you start repaying principal, this is your true cost of capital is your loan constant. Just to be clear.
Okay.
So if you've got money, if you're buying something at a 9.35 and your cost of debt is 9.3, your debt ratio is going to be like 1.05. It's going to be razor thin, and then your lender's not going to give you the money because it's not going to pencil. Does that make sense? Here, I'll show you guys. Let me show you guys what I mean on my pro forma. I guess instead of just looking at a screenshot, let's see. So here's what I mean. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So like, just so you can be clear. So like loan constant right here would be over 20 years, 7 point, we'll get it to where it was exactly before. So 9.3, just like Caleb had it. If you stretch it out to 25 years, it reduces your cost of monthly debt or annual debt. Now you're going to pay more interest. You're going to pay more interest, but it's going to make your debt service coverage ratio a lot higher. Now, obviously, this is just these numbers are thrown in here, but like if this was, let's call it $12,000. So if you make it 15 years, you're going to pay less interest over time, but your debt service is going to be more. Does that make sense? How that like kind of ratio comes back and forth. So
That makes sense.
like look how tight my debt ratio is. If you see that I've got an 11 cap, and let's just use I could use your number, but my loan constant is 10, almost 11. My cap rate is 11.2. Look how tight my debt ratio is. It's wicked tight. But if I put this thing at 25 years, my loan constant goes down. There's going to be a little bit more of an opportunity here. You see how that changes just by your amortization and the interest rate. Like those two variables, and also your loan to value will change it too. Like, you have less debt service. I mean, the debt service is not going to change. It's just the amortization and the interest rate.
Nolan, question for the term 5 years, what's that referring to? Is that like by the time we want to refinance or?
Yeah, this doesn't really have an effect on any other functions on the whole pro forma. It's more just for me when I'm sharing this pro forma with my banker. Like usually I say, hey, over 5 years, they're gonna ask me to refinance or
Mhm,
adjust the adjustable rate on the
mhm.
mortgage. So
Okay.
sometimes you get it for 7 years. If you say, hey, the bank offers you a 7-year term, they might tack on 25 basis points. But you've got permanent debt for 7 years at that point. So if
Mhm,
you got an adjustable rate mortgage, let's say the term was 3 years, you might be able to squeeze this interest rate down to like 6, right? So my cost of capital is less, but I'm also potentially bringing on more risk because I don't know where interest rates are going to be in the future.
in 3 years, yeah.
So you pay more in basis points for certainty. So if this was
Mm,
7 years, they might say, okay, well, we're going to charge you $5,000 in just bank fees just because we're the ones that are going to be taking on the risk of market volatility and interest rate volatility. Does that make
mhm,
sense?
mhm,
So it's up to you. And that's kind of what makes it fun is like crafting the offer back and forth. Like I said, Andrew, a second ago, like on your deal, when he comes back and says, hey, this is what we gotta have this, or he's kind of high and mighty. Maybe he's not, but you say, look, I mean, imagine you were to show up and you say, this is the reason why I'm making this offer to you, banker. I don't know what the Treasury is going to do. I don't know what the Fed's going to do, but this is the reason why I'm making this offer. 7-year term, 25-year amortization. You can charge me a couple of basis points, but I don't, want to take on the risk of the market interest volatility. So I'm willing to overpay for interest. And you can have that dialogue with them and they're going to be like, damn, this guy's sophisticated. He sounds like a good partner, a guy we can lend
Hmm.
money to, you know.
Hmm.
Then you can even go on to explain the reason why the seller's leaving money in the deal. It's a tax play. It has nothing to do with me not bringing money. I'm trying to help my seller become more tax efficient, right? And you can position it that way. It's like all about how you position your offer to the bank. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that I have discovered to do it at least. And that's
Hmm.
what the banker, because honestly, too, guys, like sometimes in my discovery, you as the investor candidly sometimes have more sophistication than the guy lending you the money. That doesn't happen every time, but if you can come up with a good creative solution as to why the loan makes sense at the interest rate and at the amortization, and you have a game plan, dude, they're more likely than not gonna go with what you're saying because they're like, we got to lend money. I've got mouths to feed myself, and you've got a good game plan. They're gonna trust you and your creativity and your tenacity, and they're way more likely to want to partner with you on. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So hopefully it's not too loud. It's like pouring rain here. Can y'all hear that? Okay, good. It is like coming down right now. But um so yeah, that's just kind of my opinion, guys. Like I said, I'm not like I look at it and think whenever you're talking with these lenders, like, man, it is an offer. Like I'm never asking this, that, or the other. I'm like coming up with a solution as to how they're gonna make money. Like, let me show you how you can make more money doing it this way. And they're like, damn, I would have never thought about that. Okay, sounds like this guy knows what he's doing, what he's talking about. So, Zane, you got a thought on that? Just putting you under the, filling you under.
Yeah,
Yeah, just curious.
actually I do. So Andrew and I were also talking about the term sheet that he had got from the bank, and there was a spot on there that showed us two different options, for the terms. So I'll share my screen and show you what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Well, I was actually on my way to put it into ChatGPT, but I'll just show you right here. Um, so there's these two options, the variable rate option, and the fixed rate option. This one says this SOFR, which is like I think just 2.75 over like prime or whatever.
Right.
Um, so it says payments calculated based on the divided by 300 months. So showing the debt service. And then this one says fixed rate of 675. So this is less than the variable option, but I thought the fixed, like you were just saying too, I thought the fixed was specifically supposed to be priced higher because of the guarantee.
Well, look, it just says as of 9/23. I mean, it can change.
Yeah, okay, okay.
It varies every single month. Like on some, I've got an adjustable rate mortgage on a building, and when I'm doing my accounting, I actually go into the and like look and see how much they actually charge me in a mortgage. Like it floats, it goes up or it goes down. So right now, what he's offering you right now is just this price, and as of today, your monthly payment will be $10,200. Tomorrow, though, if interest rates plummet, well, then maybe your monthly mortgage is only $8,000 or whatever, or however long. I mean, I don't know what the number would be.
Okay, okay. And then this part though is confusing. It says with 60 monthly payments of principal and interest based on a 300 month amortization schedule. So
That's like the term. That's like a 5-year term.
so that's saying like it's fixed for 5 years.
Correct. And
Okay,
then
okay.
and then what they'll do after those 5 years is whatever the interest rate is, they'll readjust the interest rate to that market.
Okay, okay. Because I thought that was the definition of the variable rate is that there was a term that it would change at, but I guess it's actually just variable, meaning like literally any day, like or any month it could change.
Every month it will wherever the interest rate is that month when they chart when it might even be like it depends on your interest rate or how it works, but it can even be like a daily average balance and they balance it out throughout the month.
Okay,
It
okay.
goes up or if it goes down.
All right. Well, yeah, that's all then.
So let me ask you this, in your opinion, for buying a warehouse or buying some of the commercial properties, what's a better option? Is a variable or a fixed rate?
I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, if you're going to play the long game and you're going to be planning to hold it out of the gate, I think fixed rate is the way to go. But let's say that you say, it's a vacant warehouse, right? You buy a vacant property, you go and lease it up, and you're going to sell it or refinance it, whatever. I would go with an interest only variable interest rate because it's usually cheaper and you'll pay only interest versus fixed rate principal and interest. So you can make it cheaper depending upon what your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Does that answer your question? Caleb's in and out. Does it answer? Does anyone else have a? That answer the question, I guess, for Caleb.
I think so.
Okay.
So variable's almost like if you want to just get the tenant in there and flip it,
Yeah,
essentially.
if you want to flip it, or then once you have the tenant in there, then you can refinance into permanent debt, like fixed interest rate. And then after you do that, what I'd recommend doing is buying the interest rate down.
Mhm.
It's a whole other,
I like the fixed because you can build real projections. That variable could end up screwing you so bad where, I like
I always choose fixed unless, again, there's a circumstance where I know there's going to be a vacancy or I'm doing some type of rehab and I can get the debt for cheaper over that like 12 months or whatever. But to me, I look at being able, like you said, projections. I can forecast into the future, the next 60 months, exactly what my costs are. It allows me to be more agile and quantitative when I'm making decisions, when I know what my costs are going to be. That's the way that I view it. So I'm like you, Will. Anyone else? Anything else?
I had one quick question.
Yeah.
On the seller financing tab on the pro forma, when it shows the section about tax rate, do we change that or leave it to whatever you have in there? Well, mine says a different percentage, but the tax bracket on both of those, what should those be?
You know, Obviously I got it yellow because it's a variable, but this is kind of where you have that dialogue with your seller and you ask him like what his circumstances are. And I kind of like to think if he's selling a building and he's going to make $1 million, he more likely than not is going to be in the highest income tax bracket. So that's the way that, this is obviously just federal, not including any state, but it could be higher than that. So 35 to me is kind of the baseline, and it makes your story and offer a little bit stronger when they see how much more money they're going to save.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I think 35, I mean that's kind of just the going rate. You can change it. You can make it 20% and just see how it changes the numbers. But like you said, it doesn't come across as strong. But if you said, hey, you're in Alabama, 35% of federal, 5.5% of state. So that's 40.5% of tax. Look how much money you're going to save if you do it this way. It's just now that's when you always say go consult with your accountant and everything like that. You need to consult with your financial professional. But this is a much louder number than, something that's 20, some people would look at that and be like, well, I don't give a shit. I'm okay with paying $45,000 in tax to walk away, to just walk away. But if they say, hey, it's close to 100 grand that I can save, somebody might be more open minded to that. Would you guys agree with that? Maybe I'm crazy. That's what I would think, at least. So that's the way that I view it.
45. Okay.
That tax bracket isn't off of just the capital gain.
I
It's
was
also
using this tax
included in
bracket.
there.
I'm sorry, Michael. You kind
I
of,
thought that tax bracket was just for the capital gain, not also with their income.
like I said, I kind of use this as like my selling sheet, if you want to call it that. I mean, I don't know their circumstances. I don't know how much income they're making, what their, accountant would tell them what to do. I think I just try and make them curious with this sheet. And then what it does is it
Like
immediately,
a shock and awe.
yeah, you want to kind of get them like, whoa, that's I didn't think about that. Okay, I'm not an accountant. I mean, if somebody presented this to me, I would be like, damn, this guy has an idea of what he's doing. I think. I mean, he could be completely wrong. I'm going to go consult with my accountant, and then he goes, and then you would say, don't listen to me. Go consult with your accountant first. It just like lowers the sales resistance when you provide them information, and it's kind of like this. Whoa, that's kind of a lot of money there. I might need to consider this. And then you make the
Starts to pay
recommendation
off.
to not make any decisions yet. Go talk to your CPA first. It's like I would appreciate that if somebody was trying to sell me something. They're like, don't listen, don't make a decision now. Go talk to your guy first. I'd be like, fuck yeah. All right, I will go talk to my guy first. But I'm way more open-minded than I was before because I wasn't told what to do. I was just presented information. And then I was, you know, asked to go talk to my guy. So to me, that's the way that I think about it. And I think it removes the sales resistance and increases the likelihood where the accountant's going to be like, hey, that number's a little off, but his offer is strong. It's a good offer because of this, that, and the other. So it proves your point that you were right, but you just messed the numbers up, which you're not, but you can tell him, I'm not your guy. Go talk to your guy first. And then they'll come back to you, dude, within 24 hours. And they're like, hey, I know you offered me 200,000. You think I could potentially leave 300,000 in the deal? And I mean, I'm telling you, it is like 4 out of 5 times. They usually ask if they can leave more money in the deal. It's crazy because you just like, we're trying to actually help them save money and not just trying to buy a property or a seller consultant. They like eat it up. It's pretty remarkable. So
Mhm. I had
any
a question. Nolan, I had a question that kind of, whenever I'm just thinking about all this stuff, things come up in my mind. But
yeah, of course.
so let's say you're going to buy a property, you get a 70% loan from the bank, and you do the seller financing for the rest of the 30%. But this property needs, say, $100,000 worth of rehab. Am I getting a third loan for the rehab? Am I coming out of pocket for the rehab? Where can I work that in?
Who knows the answer to that question? Zane? Andrew?
I I
Caleb?
blanked out and didn't hear it.
Oh,
I
uh,
was saying, Zane, you're going to buy a property, you get a 70% loan from the bank, 30%, let's say we go through seller financing, but there's $100,000 of rehab that needs to be done for the building.
uh,
Where am I raising that money from? Or am I
Yeah, I mean,
coming out?
I think the first option is always going to the bank and seeing if you can wrap it into the mortgage
right.
Okay.
because that's the cheapest way. Amortize it out over freaking 20 years or 25 years and, you know,
That's right.
way cheaper than like raising it and
million
paying interest.
dollars instead of borrowing, because what you can do essentially is you can say, hey, the way that you can position it to the bank is like, hey, this building needs rehab of 100 grand, and
Hmm.
I'm buying it for 1 million, but based on what the rents will be when I complete the job, it's going to be worth 1,500,000.
Hmm.
So then if they lend you $800,000, their exposure is only like 60% loan to value. They're not really that exposed based on the new appraisal.
Got it.
You see what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So you just got to pitch it to the bankers.
pitch it to the banker as in like this improvement will increase the value of your collateral.
Hmm.
Think it that way. Like you can
Okay.
use that vocabulary. It will increase the value of your collateral and strengthen your mortgage or strengthen your debt or strengthen your property, or however you want to word it. But that's kind of the way that I've used it. And then your banker will get that. Because he's got regulators, number one, but also he's got a loan committee that he's got to like annually go and talk to about this. And if he's like, hey, why did you make that loan? Well, here's why. And then you gave him a proposal for financing on why this made sense. It's allowing to make his job easier.
Hmm.
That's what's going to make you a better borrower, and he's going to want to lend you more money because it makes his job easier.
Hmm.
Yeah, like all these little pieces, like all kind of like come together like that. It's kind of fun.
Definitely.
So. Anyone else? As we kind of start getting wrapped up, I gotta get moving shortly. I gotta go drive 25 minutes to go pick up my kiddos. But anything else as we're getting to the end here?
I do got one question for you.
Yeah.
On the performa, when you had it pulled up earlier,
Yep.
so that I can pay attention because I didn't pay attention to the section of it where it goes to, I think it's on the first page to where it basically shows like what percentage or like what passive income you would actually get off that building.
Down at the bottom here, like your
Down, okay.
cash flow to equity, second mortgage, cash flow to equity, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure because I was trying to figure out where you were getting some of your numbers from, and I missed that whole section. That's what I was trying to.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, that's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So obviously, after you run all the numbers up in the assumptions tabs, this is just going to spit out. This is, if you brought equity to the deal, if you got interest only out of the gate, and then if you have the seller leave money in the deal, this is what all this income's going to be. So,
Okay,
yeah.
And then you can also actually go to the, oh, sorry, Nolan.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can go to the Your Pocket tab if you don't mind, Nolan. And you can see the different ways. And you guys' pro forma is gonna be a little different than this one. This one's a little old. It's I know it says updated up there, but that's a little misleading.
That one's
But you
this
can,
is the one I just typed in on Google. We've got like
yeah,
5,000 of these things. So I just typed in pro
yeah.
formas. It popped up. Sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. But anyways, you'll be able to see based off of the different ways you can finance it, or you raise money for it or the seller financing model, and you can see
Well, let
the
me just
different.
do it real quick. Hang on. So which one is it, Zane?
Look up
That's the
master.
one I
Like just
clicked.
click like just type in the word yeah, there you go. Try that.
Okay. Yeah, this one's
There you
right.
go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you can just see down here your cash flow on either way you finance it. So the traditional syndication method, you got the preferred return plus the 50/50 split of the promote that goes to the investor. Down there on the bottom left, you can see the cash on cash return for the investor. And then over here, your cash flow, you can see, like in the same traditional syndication model over there on the left,
Oh, sorry.
your cash flow little part right there. You can see what's left over after everything. So you can clearly see that like why we harp on seller financing so much. It's worth so much more for you guys
Yeah.
to go that route.
You make a lot more money
okay,
when you sell or leave money in the deal, like every time, every day of the week. And plus the depreciation too, which is just like the freaking game at the end of the day.
Huge.
It's big. So it's my opinion, at least.
no,
Awesome.
I appreciate that. That actually helped. That actually helped me out a lot when I was looking at different properties. So now that I kind of got that in my head.
I love it, man. Keep it rolling. Well, what we'll do is, like I said, I'll upload this call to school and everything. But if you guys have anything else that you're working on in the meantime before our next week's call, next week will be on Thursday. I just was again, we're out of town tomorrow, so we'll plan on see everybody on Thursday. But let us know if you got something before that. We always say the same thing, but we're always here ready to rock and roll with you. So just let us know if we can do something for y'all in the meantime. All right.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks for making it. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Bye.